You ever hear of that crazy son of a bitch who calls himself the wartime consigliere? Bravo, Vamula! Well, without his generous contribution, this video would not be possible. Okay, so I'm just kidding, you know that. But by now you already know that on the other channel, I have made a couple of videos about the Bush-Clinton envelope, the Bush funeral. And by now you already know that they've gone viral. 300,000 hits in less than a couple weeks. And you have to ask yourself, how is that possible? Who is it that can make a ham and cheese video go viral? Who has the power to make a video of, basically you could go out there and make a video of the grass growing, watching the paint dry. Who has the power to make videos go viral? Well, you already know this. The military security complex, the corporate bankers, the CIA and the 666 gang. They all push certain videos that help their agenda or their experiment. And I'm afraid that I have been included in their experiment. What we're looking at here is the Bush funeral and all the drama that went with it. All the people who got the mysterious envelopes. And we've been through that over there on the other channel. I'm not going to rehash all that. But there's a new development, or there's a new question coming up, and I thought I would just quickly as possible, try to hit this. The question that keeps on popping up is, why did VP Pence get an envelope? Or more specifically, why did his wife get the envelope? And of course, I noticed if you read all the comments of those two videos that went viral, you're going to see that the Q people are all through this. Now, who is the Q people? They're a target audience, obviously. And who is their target audience for? Well, we know it's the military-industrial complex experiment. So today, we're going to be talking about, our conversation is about Q. Our conversation is about VP Pence and the wives. Why did the wives get the envelope? Why did Q point that out? These are all interesting questions, no doubt. I mean, you and I don't have to believe in Q as a human being, as a real patriot, as a born and raised American. You and I don't have to believe that horseshit, but we do have to realize that Q is bringing up some good questions. Q is basically educating the unwashed masses, and this is definitely something we don't want to leave out of the equation. So right out of the gate, do I think that Q is a human? No, I don't. Oh, I did in the beginning. I thought maybe in the beginning that Q had something to do with the Trump women. You know, there's a lot of Trump women in the background that that information is not coming out. But maybe it's possible that the Trump women are involved with Q, feeding Q all the information, because these wives and these women have a lot of free time on their hands. And if they've been given the task of a new super AI computer program, if the military-industrial complex have brought these women into the fray because they got a lot of free time on their hands, and they say, hey, you want to be a patriot? Let's bring the women in here. So the women are going all around the internet, everywhere they can. They're trying to find patriots, dead and alive patriots. Patriots who were born and raised in America, and they're picking our brain. They're feeding all the information that they can find, putting it in an artificial intelligence computer program, all bankrolled by the military-industrial complex. This is an experiment for the ages. It's an amazing story. And quite frankly, I don't talk about it enough, because the reason why I never talked about it before, because I was embarrassed about how these Q fanatics were going overboard on this stuff. And it was sort of embarrassing. But now we're going to have to address it. So I jotted down some of my thoughts earlier, and I'll try to address all the major points. I mean, what was the telltale sign? How did I figure out that Q was artificial intelligence? Well, it came down to when Q said, "Watch the wives." I knew exactly where he got that. If you go back into some of my old videos, I could never find it. But I used to talk about that all the time, about the man in the political position of power may not have the right name, or he may not be part of the 666 gang. And I used to say, research the wife. And if you researched the wife back then, you would find out where the power was. I used to talk about this all the time. And then I figured it out. They're feeding all this information into an AI intelligence bank. Not only mine, every patriot out there, they're creating a data bank of all American patriots. Now, the criteria is simple. You must have been born and raised in America, because they don't have a good handle on how Americans are thinking. If you go all through the internet, YouTube, most of all the big shots, the big people out there spewing out their bullshit, most of them were born in other countries. Think about it. Canada, Europe, the UK. I mean, you don't have very many Americans out there who are spewing out their opinions. So there's not much to go on. So there's a few of us out there. Actually, it's probably enough to keep them definitely busy all day long. But here's the kicker. They don't just go for the YouTubers who are alive. No. They also go for the dead people, the dead patriots, like Bill Cooper. They got to go for the best. Anybody who has a recording of their thoughts, what they were thinking, trying to wake up the unwashed masses, people who are watching the Kardashians, football, baseball. Bill Cooper was one of them. They have fed in all of every single bit of information they can get on him, all his recordings. They feed it in. And Q is simply artificial intelligence. And the military-industrial complex is in control of feeding out the breadcrumbs. I mean, can you imagine what Q has in that data bank now? I mean, the military-industrial complex, they probably got more than one artificial intelligence program. I mean, surely. I mean, that's not even an exaggeration. I mean, they probably got over a dozen of these programs. They're taking in all the information on the internet. Now, Q is an experiment. How can you take our information and regurgitate it onto the unwashed masses? How can you get them all excited, manipulate them, control them by leading out the breadcrumbs? And that's what we're seeing here. It is something, it's a spectacle to behold. I mean, it really is a story. I will try to talk about it as much as possible. The Q people are not happy with me. I called them freaks. But they should be proud of that. I mean, nothing wrong with being a freak. A lot better to be a freak than a normal person. I mean, what are the normal people? The normal people watch the Kardashians. The normal people watch baseball and basketball and football. Give me a break. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be like, look at all these people out. These are the so-called normal people out there. Look at them. Look at their faces. Profile these people. I mean, maybe Jimmy Carter is the only normal person there, but he was a rich peanut farmer. I mean, none of these clowns know how real Americans feel. Look at Jared Kushner looking up. I mean, just looking at these people make most Americans sick. That's what I got. If you looked at the comments, if you read the comments of the two viral videos, most people just get sick by looking at these people. Yeah, the comments were something. They were telling. I mean, yeah, they think I repeat myself too much, huh? Okay, I got off track a little bit there. Let's get back on track. Before I forget, the main question of the video, people are wondering, okay, why did VP Pence get the envelope, or his wife get the envelope? Because they have been placed there Like just about everybody in the equation. Of course they were placed there. Who was Pence placed there by? The Koch brothers. We're talking billionaires. Always follow the money. Koch brothers. I mean, yes, I should probably repeat that about 12 times. That's why VP Pence and his wife get an envelope. That's why Americans don't trust him, because he's bought and paid for by the Koch brothers. And of course, there's a lot more other things going behind the scene, but that's the main thing. Let's get back to some of the things I jotted down here. I want to make sure I hit all these. Okay. Q said, watch the wives, and that was the big clue. I mean, of course, and this is true. I mean, but of course, Q took that from us. He's just regurgitating it. But what does it mean? What does it mean? But Q being artificial intelligence going to some stupid channel on internet, no, they can't really get down to the nitty gritty. The unwashed masses, all these American deplorables, they can't get a real answer from Q. So I guess that's where I have to chirp in. What it means is, at this level, in the fascist state of crony capitalism, the wives don't work. They pretend to donate their time to worthy charities to promote crony capitalism. They shill for any organization that can help keep the house of cards standing. They shill for public schools, sports, 666, hidden ownership, nonprofits. But I'll tell you what the wives don't shill for. The little small mom and pop businesses that could give you and I a good job. That's not on their list of worthy causes. So these women don't work. Many of them come from a family that's associated with the 666 gang. So yes, it is a very important thing to point out. And so Americans are learning through Q. I cannot leave, like I said, we cannot leave that out of the equation. Of course I call them freaks, fanatics, because they're listening to somebody who they don't even know who this person is. I mean, the Q people are confused. And they say I sound a lot like Q, but I insult Q. And they're confused. And again, they don't know that when I call them a freak, that sometimes is a compliment. You got to be proud to be a freak. You got to be proud to be a deplorable. You got to be proud to be a Gentile. But don't be a fool and don't be a sucker. Don't let them play you. I mean, you got to think for yourself. Use the brain that God gave you. Use the invisible, universal, wireless brain waves that God sends into your receiver receptacles that He put into your brain. God talks to you through wireless connections in your brain. You get these. Seriously, I'm not a wacko here. Our brain has wireless capabilities, connections that you wouldn't believe. And what happens if you use your brain? Better yet, what happens if you decide to broadcast your thoughts out there onto the worldwide cyber web? What happens? Well, they put our thoughts into a super duper AI program, a military experiment. That's what we are part of. All Americans who are on the World Wide Web, we are part of a military experiment. And I'm not just talking about my words, my voice. No, I'm talking about your comments. You know, when a video goes viral, you know what one of the most important parts of the whole process is? The comments. Think about it. Leave a comment on this video if you enjoyed going down and reading all those comments of those 2 viral videos I made. If you really enjoyed reading the comments, well, leave a comment on here and confirm my suspicions that the comments are just as important in the equation, and they feed those comments into the artificial intelligence program that we call Q, so they know how we think. Is this starting to come together? Are we connecting the dots? And they're even putting in the dead patriots' words and voices. We've talked about Cooper. Modern day technology. Imagine the implications here. It's mind-boggling. So, if there's any Q people out there, now you know why the military has not shown you Q's face. I repeat. You people love to say that I repeat too much. Now you know why you have not seen Q's face, because the military does not have a human face to show you yet. Now they are working on a human prototype as we speak. Yes. Who can spew out all this rhetoric in smooth order? No easy task to do. I can tell you that. Trying to find a pleasant face to look at with Bill Cooper's intelligence and to be able to spew out this sort of patriot talk. I mean, good luck, generals. Good luck on that one. But who knows? Maybe they'll get lucky. So, that's about all I have for you today. We'll get back a little summary here. I mean, to get back on the wives and Pence. I mean, the real power sometimes lies in the wife's family. So when people say, well, why did the wives get the envelope? Well, think about it. Pence and wife is one unit. Wife and Pence is one unit. I mean, they're one and the same. If the wife gets the envelope, the husband is getting the envelope too. He's included in the package. It's a package deal. They're all included. Yes, one may be more powerful than the other, and it may not be the man's family who is the most powerful in the unit. So people sometimes overlook the wives, and that's a mistake. Okay, let me think about the profiling of the names real quick. I mean, I know I've had a couple videos in the past on how we, as Americans, we need to work on our profiling skills, our body language skills. But when I say profiling names, I mean, you think about it. Sometimes you have a political figure who's placed in his position of power, but he does not have the right name, and it confuses you. I mean, if you're a thinker, if you're a profiler and an analyzer like most of you and I are, I mean, you're thinking, well, he doesn't have the right name to be in that position. Why? Well, then, that's what this story's about. Because you have to go to the wife, and you have to profile her name. And most likely, you'll be able to identify her name as part of the 666 gang. And of course, not all names are equal. I mean, you have soldiers' names, even in the 666 gang. You have names that are soldier-level names, all the way up to royal names. But like I said, the male politician that you're profiling, he may have a peasant's name. He may have a common name like us, of the unwashed masses. And you have to ask yourself, how did he get placed in that position of power? Easy. Through his wife's family. Think John Kerry, John McCain, and there was 1,000 shills just like them that have come and gone, and the people were no wiser. So, what if an artificial intelligence, an AI program named Q, could teach the unwashed masses the Machiavellian rules of the elite? I mean, what are the implications? That's what we're watching here. And quite frankly, I should probably talk about it more. Before I close out, I'll just mention real quickly what a lot of people noticed during this fiasco, this funeral fiasco. They thought Bill there was getting a little too close to Michelle. Had his elbow in places he shouldn't have had it. I mean, I guess that was funny. And everybody was really, really amused that old Jimmy Carter did not get the envelope, and he was looking for the envelope, and he couldn't find it. All this is amusing. I mean, it's telling. As the empire is crumbling, as the American empire is falling, that we find so much interest and humor and drama and a damn funeral. And then people were pretty scared by the Merchant of Death and how he was staring down people. People are scared of Dick Cheney, no doubt about it. Okay, I wanted to make this as short as I could, but this is getting out of hand. This Q thing is getting out of hand, and I have to talk about it. And I hope that the Q people understand that they're going to have to use your brain, and that one day when the military finally brings Q out for your inspection, that he might have been some human prototype that they've been working on for a long, long time to pretend to be Q. I mean, you just don't know what these people are doing behind the scenes. I mean, they're Machiavellian, for God's sake. You're going to have to use your imagination. And look at old Jeb. What the hell did Jeb see that scared him half to death? Okay, until next time, adios.